we would just have like conversations of us like liking each other, obviously like where both of our minds are at. And then like when I wasn't with him, he would just like not speak to me. I'm sorry, I'm calling you out.
What is up, everyone? I'm your host, Alannized, and welcome to the season premiere of Noche de Pendejadas, your favorite talk show turned podcast en donde yo traigo a tu influencer favorito para chismear y posiblemente sacarle sus trapitos al sol. Hoy les tenemos preparado un show increíble, amigas, que yo sé que ustedes no se van a querer perder, pero antes de que empecemos con todo lo que les tenemos programado el día de hoy, quiero tomar un tiempito, amigas, para agradecerles y decirles muchas gracias por todo el amor y el apoyo que le han brindado, no nomás a mí, pero todo este proyecto. Si ustedes me han estado siguiendo por mucho rato, amigas, ustedes saben que este ha sido mi bebé. And to see what it's become 5 seasons later, amigas, en verdad que sí, me pone muy emocional, me pone muy contento y muy alegre de seguir contando con ustedes y con todo su apoyo. También quiero tomar el tiempo para agradecer a cada uno de mis invitados que he tenido en todas las últimas temporadas, amigas, porque gracias a ellos y gracias a sus historias ha sido la razón por qué Noche de Pendejadas ha sido un exitazo. Les tenemos un chingo de new guests. También por primera vez, amigas, en Noche de Pendejadas cada episodio va a tener un musical performance. Yo sé lo que se están preguntando, amigas, pero ¿saben qué? Yo ni les voy a decir, nomás les voy a enseñar. With that being said, amigas, please help me welcome, performing for the first time ever here on Noche de Pendejadas, Marisol Terrazas.
Noche de Pendejadas with Alannized. El pintalabio, toque de rímel, moldeador como un artista de cine, peluquería, crema hidratante y maquillaje que bellece al instante. Abre la puerta que nos vamos a la calle. ¿Y a quién le importa lo que digan por aquí? Antes muerta que sencilla. Ay, que sencilla. Ay, que sencilla. Antes muerta que sencilla. Ay, que sencilla. Ay, que sencilla. Y es la verdad, porque somos así. Nos gusta ir a la moda, que nos gusta presumir. ¿Qué más me da que digas tú de mí? ¿De dónde soy Milagro, San Francisco de París? Y hemos venido a bailar, para reír y disfrutar, después de tanto y tanto trabajar. A veces las mujeres necesitan dar poquita, una poquita, una poquita, una poquita libertad. ¡Arriba Nayarit! Mucho puntaje de los de antes, por eso yo me muevo así con mucho arte. Y si algún novio se me pone por delante, le bailo un rato y unas gotitas de Chanel número 4, que es más barato. ¿Y a quién le importa lo que digan por antes muerta que sencilla? Ay, que sencilla. Ay, que sencilla. Antes muerta que sencilla. Ay, que sencilla. Ay, que sencilla. Y es la verdad, porque somos así. Nos gusta ir a la moda, que nos gusta presumir. ¿Qué más me da que digas tú de mí? ¿De dónde soy Milagro, San Francisco de París? Y hemos venido a bailar, para reír y disfrutar, después de tanto y tanto estudiar. A veces las mujeres necesitan poquita, una poquita, una poquita. Y hemos venido a bailar, para reír y disfrutar, después de tanto y tanto trabajar. A veces las mujeres necesitan dar poquita, una poquita, una poquita, una poquita libertad. Antes muerta que sencilla. Ay, que sencilla. Ay, que sencilla. Antes muerta que sencilla. Ay, que sencilla. Ay, que sencilla. Quieres decirle que la quieres más que a nadie, ternura, la ansiedad, el amor y la locura. Y en mi mente solamente puedo ver la dulce entrega de tus besos a su piel. No puedo tener que admitir que te ves bien con ella. Si la quieres, anda a decirle te quiero. No debes perder ni un momento sin ella. Ella te espera y yo me quedo aquí. Si la quieres, anda a decirle te amo. Mereces tenerla en tus brazos para siempre. Digo para siempre y yo me quedo aquí. Si la quieres, y en tus ojos puedo ver esa ternura, la ansiedad, el amor y la locura. Y en mi mente solamente puedo ver la dulce entrega de tus besos a su piel. No puedo tener que admitir que te ves bien con ella. Si la quieres, anda a decirle te quiero. No debes perder ni un momento sin ella. Ella te espera y yo me quedo aquí. Si la quieres, anda a decirle te amo. Mereces tenerla en tus brazos para siempre. Digo para siempre y yo me quedo aquí. Si la quieres. A ver si reconocen esta canción. Qué sorpresas da la vida, encontrarte en plena calle de una chispa en equilibrio, dinamita que estalló. Te encontré un poco más flaco, fue mirarte y derrumbarme. Te creías un olvidado, otra vez me equivoqué. ¿Cómo te va, mi amor? ¿Cómo te va? Era en silencio la pregunta entre tú y yo. ¿Eres feliz, mi bien, sin engañar? Porque a mi puerta el amor nunca volvió. Noches de pendejadas, aquí con Alannized completamente en vivo. Ahí va. Ahí va. Directito de Nayarit. Fue el encuentro tan pequeño que no pude sincerarme y decirte te he extrañado como nunca imaginé. Desde entonces como espuma creció un miedo en quedar sola, porque no he querido a nadie que me llene igual que tú. ¿Cómo te va, mi amor? ¿Cómo te va? Era en silencio la pregunta entre tú y yo. ¿Eres feliz, mi bien, sin engañar? Porque a mi puerta el amor nunca volvió. Porque el tiempo ha sido aliado, madurando este querer. No debimos separarnos, fue un error. Para que se pongan a cantar ustedes. ¿Cómo te va, mi amor? ¿Cómo te va? Era en silencio la pregunta entre tú y yo. Era engañar, porque a mi puerta el amor nunca volvió, porque a mi puerta el amor nunca volvió. Ay, para toda esa raza que anda enamorada o desenamorada. Hay alguna canción que tuve la fortuna de cantar junto con Gloria Trevi hace muchos años que se llama 5 minutos para todos aquí, todos ustedes aquí en Noche de Pendejadas en Alannized. Se llama 5 minutos para todos ustedes. Ojalá que la disfruten. Ahí le va. Ya me cansé de estar jugando a las escondidas. Ya no me busques, aquí estoy. Si no te di la cara ante mi cobardía, tú bien sabes cómo soy. A mí no se me da eso de la de reversa, la palabra volver. La verdad me da pereza, y más aún si se trata de ti. ¿Qué quieres decir? Pero 5 minutos desahógate. No pienses que no tengo nada más que hacer. Y si te saludan por pura cortesía. La última vez estabas tan feliz, hoy no te ves muy bien. La vida da mi vuelta, yo te la avisé. Ahora estás abajo y yo estoy arriba. Noche de Pendejadas con Alannized. ¡Ahí va! Se te olvidó que ni me daba los buenos días cuando la otra apareció. Tu planeta que no funciona y no reconquista, conmigo se te fue el avión. Y lo siento porque has perdido la vergüenza de lastimadas, mas no soy tu servilleta. Vete de aquí, ¿qué más quieres de mí? ¿Qué quieres decir? Pero 5 minutos desahógate. No pienses que no tengo nada más que hacer. Y si te saluden por pura cortesía. La última vez estabas tan feliz, hoy no te ves muy bien. La vida da mi vuelta, yo te la avisé. Ahora estás abajo y yo estoy arriba. Pero 5 minutos desahógate. No pienses que no tengo nada más que hacer. Y si te saluden por pura cortesía. ¿Qué quieres decir? Te doy 5 minutos, desahógate. No pienses que no tengo nada más que hacer. Ahora estás abajo y yo estoy arriba. ¡Vaya! ¿Qué quieres decir? Te doy 5 minutos, desahógate. No pienses que no tengo nada más que hacer. Y si te saluden por pura cortesía. La última vez estabas tan feliz, hoy no te ves muy bien. La vida da mi vuelta, yo te lo avisé. Ahora estás abajo y yo estoy arriba. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
¡Wow, amigas! ¡Qué performance nos acaba de dar la Marisol, amigas! Así es como se abre la 5ª temporada de Noche de Pendejadas. Gracias, gracias, gracias. Ahí les voy a dejar todas sus links y todas sus redes down below. Ya vamos a empezar con el show que les tenemos preparado el día de hoy, amigas. Hoy les tengo una invitada súper especial. Please help me welcome my guest tonight, Bella Retamosa. Hello, hello.
Hi.
¿Cómo estás, amiga?
I've been good. How have you been?
I'm excited to have you here, the premiere of Noche de Pendejadas, amigas. Si ustedes have been a long time fan of the show, ustedes saben que Bella is no stranger to the show. You've been on here once before. Hace 2 años. 2 years ago. You were here back in June of 2023, amigas, and we brought her back to give us a little update. Your life has changed so much
has changed
since the last time. And also, I feel like the program and the show has changed a lot since. I think the last episode where you were on, it was a 30-minute video. It was a 30-minute video where we literally just talked about drama and like crazy shit going on in your life. Y hoy, aunque sí les tenemos planeado hablar de drama y todo eso, amigas, hoy el plan de hoy es que queremos conocerte un poquito más. We want to get to know you a little better. Who the hell is Bella? You know, no nomás a la muchacha que miramos online. Antes de que empecemos con todo esto, amigas, yo le voy a pasar el micrófono a Bella para que nos diga un poquito más de quién es y qué hace.
Hi, you guys. My name is Bella. I am a content creator. I've been doing this since COVID, so 2021, so it's been a minute. I make a lot of lifestyle content with my baby, and I am now a single mother, so he like occupies so much more of my time. So I feel like I'm a lot less consistent now, and everybody's like, where the hell is she? Because I'll have him with me and his dad, we do like 3 days at a time, so when he's with me, yeah, that boy.
Antes de que empecemos con el chisme, vamos a empezar con una shot, amigas, para calentar motores. Por si andamos nerviosos, amigas, aquí que se nos quiten todos los nervios. We're gonna cheer para arriba, para abajo, para el centro y para adentro. Vámonos, chinga su madre. Ooh, that needed to be more chilled.
With water is crazy.
I chase down my tequila with water. I feel like that's the
Stop
reason
it.
why I'm able to like last long. Everyone, whenever they see me in videos or anything, they're like, what the hell? He's chasing it down with water?
Stop.
Try it. Try it.
Hydrating. Yeah.
Hydrate yourself while you're fucking drinking, amigas, y les juro que van a durar más. Pero ya quiero empezar con el chisme. Yo quiero empezar a conocer un poquito más a Bella. So vamos a empezar con la pregunta que empezamos con todos. I want to know more about tu infancia. How was your childhood growing up? Cuéntanos un poquito más de eso.
I feel like I can't complain. I grew up in a really big family. Both of my parents are together. I have 3 brothers and 2 sisters. And I became a tia in 1st grade.
Wait, are you like the youngest?
Second to youngest. I have a younger
okay.
sister, so everybody else is older than me. So there was 6 of us in a house. I always had a sibling going to school with me. Always. It was the worst. I freaking hated it. But I'm super close to my siblings.
Do you feel like it affected you in any way that like you guys didn't grow up close in age? Because you became a tia very young. That means your that sibling that made you a tia was old enough already to be a parent.
Oh, no, my brother was in high school.
Oh, shit. Oh, okay. So he made you a tia super early because he was becoming a dad super early.
Yeah,
How was that,
sure.
though? You know, becoming a tia at such an early age and almost like having the same edad.
Yeah, no, to be honest, I don't even really remember what it was like then, but I was super, super close with my niece because I'm over here playing with dolls still, and then she's growing up playing with dolls too, so we became super, super close. I love her. Now she's in high school, and I have 4 nephews and 2 nieces.
Were you born and raised
I
in
was
Southern
born in
California?
Anaheim.
Oh, in Anaheim. Yeah. Oh my God, you know what's funny? That's where I met my boyfriend. I met my boyfriend in Anaheim. I grew up in Santa Ana. My senior year, I moved to Anaheim. And then obviously after that, we moved over here. How was it like growing up in Anaheim?
I didn't grow up there. I just was born there.
Oh, okay. Where'd you grow up?
Diamond Bar, Whittier. We started in Whittier, and then like when I was like 6 or so, we moved to Diamond Bar. When I started school, I started in Diamond Bar. So like I wasn't like switching cities when I was like going to school. So thank God.
How was your relationship with your parents? Do you feel like you were more of like a daddy's girl, a mommy's girl? ¿Cómo fue eso?
For sure, a mommy's girl. To be honest, like I love my dad, but I feel like we were never really like that close, only because he was like so strict. So I could never talk to him like about anything.
Like boys, nothing.
Oh, absolutely not. Absolutely not. He found my phone like one time I went to the bathroom and I left my phone in there because I had like a iPod and like a little flip phone. It was like one of my first phones. And I had left my phone in the bathroom because I was so used to using my iPod. And at the time I had texted my boyfriend on my phone. Oh my gosh, he went to the bathroom. He saw my phone in there. He went through it. And he was literally so livid.
How old were you at this time?
A freshman in high school.
Oh, okay. So you were like old enough to
yeah.
date. Did he
Yeah.
make like a big deal about it? ¿Cómo fue eso? Like, what did he tell you as soon as he
Such a
found
big
out?
deal. Well, I think if I remember correctly, he told my mom.
Okay.
And she like was like yelling at me, and I just remember him like yelling, and I was like hiding in my room like so scared.
Did your mom know already about this boyfriend or no? Okay, so
No.
you were close to your mom, but you weren't telling her like all your secretitos?
Yeah, I was close to my mom, but I wasn't telling her too much because she definitely like took my dad's lead with everything.
was, like,
so it's like
siding with
whatever
him, yeah.
dad says goes.
How
But,
did
like,
that affect you growing up? Obviously, not being able to tell like your mom and your dad like anything like that because you were always scared that they were gonna react a negative way. Did that affect you in any way?
Yeah, like having a son now, like I would never ever ever like wish that for my baby. Like I want him to be able to tell me anything, like who he's dating, who he likes. I don't know why they were so like strict, like old school, but I'm like, that's not how I'm going to be. So it definitely like, what is that called? Like it switched my, like how I'm gonna be with my kid.
Yeah, like it almost made you realize that you didn't want to be like that with your kid. Yeah.
So they were super, super strict. Never went to parties in high school. Even after high school, like 20 years old, my dad, where are you? Like super
they were on it. What the hell?
It. The only reason I got freedom was because I got pregnant. And so then my dad was like, oh, that's...
You're like, ¿qué vamos a hacer? Ya se embarazó.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Obviously, escuchamos mucho que when parents kind of raise their children very strictly, it almost kind of makes the kid even be more rebelde or kind of act up. Was that something that happened with you?
Out of all my siblings, I'm the one who always, like obeyed my parents. Like what they said went. And I was the only one who ever listened. Now I'm like not like that anymore, but like for sure I was scared of them 100%.
We talked last night about the questions and everything, and I was actually doing some research online about like growing up with like strict parents. Apparently that causes a lot of depression in kids. Was that something that you felt like you dealt because you always felt like you couldn't really either tell your parents anything or go out at all?
Yeah, I feel like I don't know if I was like super depressed, but it for sure like made me feel some type of way because like all my friends would be out, even like 20 years old. I'm like, there's no way I need to ask for permission to be out by 10 o'clock.
You're like, girl, what? I'm like almost 21.
Yeah, exactly. So I feel like it did like, I'm like, damn, like I'm really here at home when all of my friends are out like living their life. But it didn't affect me like too bad, I would say.
So obviously they were still on you at 20. When did you finally move out? Like what age did you
when I got pregnant, 21.
Okay.
I got pregnant like 4 months after my 21st birthday.
So you're like, you know what? That's my present to y'all. I'm leaving deuces. That's fucking crazy. Yeah. So obviously, you grew up with strict parents like your whole life. It wasn't even like, just your childhood. It was like going on to your adult life. What's something that, in your childhood, looking back, do you feel like was one of the craziest things that you overcame? You're like nothing.
Like nothing to me.
You're like, I had a perfect childhood.
No, I really did. We were very blessed.
Today's episode is brought to you by Alma. At Alma, they believe that therapy is more impactful when you feel heard and understood. That's why they help people find a therapist who really gets you. The right person to talk to, not just anyone. When you browse the directory, you can filter by what you want to focus on, example, anxiety, relationships, or big life transitions, as well as any preference around gender, sexuality, faith, and more. Alma can also help you find a therapist who takes your insurance. Over 95% of therapists at Alma accept insurance, including Cigna, United Healthcare, and more. People who find in-network care through Alma save an average of 77% on the cost of therapy. It's easy to get started with Alma. Browse the directory without creating an account or sharing payment information. You can book a free consultation call with any therapist you're interested in seeing. These 15-minute calls give you a chance to see if they're a good fit for you, so you can find someone you really click with. I'm currently not in therapy, you guys, but there's definitely many moments where I wish I could have used Alma to help me find a therapist, because I know the importance of finding someone to talk to who understands you and where you're coming from. Alma can help you find the right therapist for you, not just anyone. Visit helloalma.com/Alan to get started and schedule a free consultation today. That's helloalma.com/Alan. Platicas un poquito about your childhood, growing up. How are you in high school? Were you like the shy girl, the popular girl? Did you ever get in fights in high school?
Never. I've never been in a fight in my entire life.
Like, did girls ever try to fight you though?
Ever.
You're like, maybe.
maybe like they would have if like I engaged in it. There's definitely a lot of girls who didn't like me because of their boyfriends, but no, never been in a fight. It was actually so bad in high school. I had a lot of problems with like this guy that I was dating started dating somebody after me. And you know, high school, so stupid. Like, I don't want your man, girl. But, like, she literally just thought, like, I wanted her short king so freaking bad. And literally just caused so much drama for me, like, my last 2 years of high school. Because she was younger than me. But, yeah, never, ever, ever got into any fights.
Do you feel like if you would have engaged, it would have happened?
Oh, 100%. 100%, but not so much with her, but like her friends didn't
they were like the
me.
instigator friend group.
100%.
Like you tú ni en cuenta, tú like, girl, I've moved on. I dumped him for a reason, and you're still stuck on it. I feel like that's the thing that sucks about girls. Like it's like, girl, just fucking live and love your man. Like stop worrying about the ex. You're worried about the wrong things. Obviously, you know, you had this happen to you in high school too much. Did you feel like that almost affected the way you made friends because like a lot of the girls were always like after you because of that?
Sure. The girls were cheerleaders. So, like, I run the school type vibes is what they were on. So, it 100% affected me because they were, like, friends with everybody. So, they always had to, like, tell somebody, like, something about me all the time. It was always like, oh, like, she told me blah, blah, blah. I'm like, bruh, what? It was just, like, she thought that, like, I was still, like, talking to this guy. Like, I still wanted her man. But it wasn't like that at all. Like, he was messaging me, and I literally showed her. I was like, girl, look. Like, I do not want him. He's the one messaging me. And she was like, okay, girl, I'm so sorry. Like, you are so sweet. Like, gave me that whole speech. And then 2 days later, went back on her same bullshit.
Do you feel like that also transitioned into your adult life where it kind of almost made it difficult for you to make friends now, too?
No, but I feel like I was very, very closed off. Like, more so in the beginning, but only because like I had my baby and then I lived with my son's father, and he was very like, I don't want to go out. Like he never wanted to go out, and so I was just like, okay, I'm gonna stay here with you. So we were very like antisocial together. Now I'm like,
you're like, bitch, I'm not in about.
I'm like, we outside now. But 100% like with him and my baby, like for the past 5 years with him, it was just inside. That's all I knew was my son and him and indoors, and that's it.
How do you feel now that obviously nos cuentas, te miramos everywhere? Do you feel like you're living your life more freely and you enjoy it more?
For sure. I still feel like guilty sometimes. Like I'll be at home like, damn, like I should be with my kid right now, but I'm like, there's nothing I can do. Like he needs to spend time with his dad too. Like he spends time with me.
And I feel like we'll get into that a little bit later, but I feel like it's the mom guilt that gets you. And also, like, I'm sure the TikTok comments, the comments in general,
they're so
where
bad.
they almost make you feel guilty. And it's like, girl, my son has a dad too.
Exactly.
Like why y'all pressing me? Like,
100%.
he's good. He's taken care of. Like, I can go out and enjoy my life. For so long, obviously, your life was revolving around your kid, and it still is. But now that you're single and, you know, obviously you have that extra help where he's not always with you, obviamente las cosas cambian. Ya para terminar el tema de tu juventud and about your childhood, we always talk about the negative moments, right? But I want to know, like, if you can go back to a day in your life, like in your childhood, like something that like you remember, you're like, wow, that was such an amazing day. Me encantó ese día. What day would it be and why?
Probably just like my birthdays. I used to like be obsessed with my birthdays. Like every year, my parents had to throw me a party. Like so obsessed. Now that I'm getting older, I'm like, damn, I don't want to grow older, so I don't care as much. But when I was little, every single year, pool parties at my parents' house.
What was like your favorite theme?
Probably one year I did Tinkerbell. I was so excited. I was like 12 years old, and we had gone to Walmart, and I saw this little like Tinkerbell set, and my sister was with me. She's older, so she had bought like the Tinkerbell set for my party, and it was like
it was the best thing ever. Talking about birthdays, your birthday is this month.
Yeah.
¿Qué día cumples años?
June 11th. I'm gonna be 25.
So very, very fucking soon. Like a couple of days after this video goes live. What are you doing? What are your plans?
I'm gonna have my son with me that day, so it's just gonna be very chill vibes. We're gonna do a pool party at my apartment, but this Saturday we're gonna go to Disney. Yeah, I'm so excited. and then on Sunday we're gonna go out. Have you ever been to OC Day Party?
Oh my God, you're like the 10th person that has been mentioned me. I've been wanting to go. That's the one in Costa Mesa, right? They do it everywhere. If you guys are from the OC, it's kind of like a bar. They do it at bars, right? And it's kind of like day drinking vibes. It starts at like 4 or 5. Y se acaba como a las 10 de la noche. I've been dying to go because I think it's like only twice a month.
Yeah,
I think it's like every other weekend, every month. Y ya van como 5, 4 veces que me invitan, and for whatever reason I can't make it. But that's exciting.
Yeah.
Like, are you doing day drinking and then going at night, like for the after party?
Most likely.
I've heard that's like the thing with day party, amigas, que te emborrachas toda la pinche tarde y luego en la noche van a un antro, van al after party. And I hope que te la pases bien. Ya quiero hablar un poquito más de social media. Obviamente ahorita te miramos everywhere. We see you online, creating content. Yo quiero saber cómo empezó todo eso. Where did the idea of being like, you know what, I want to create content started from?
To be honest, because of the Kardashians, I've like always wanted to do Instagram for some reason. I thought that was like the only platform. So I have like literally the most cringiest pictures that I would make my mom take of me. So I've always wanted to be like Instagram famous. But for some reason, my baby daddy had started like making videos, which to this day surprises the hell out of me because he's not that type. Like, he's like, get the camera away from me. But he like started making videos and his stuff started going viral. And we were dating at the time, obviously. His stuff started going viral, and then I was like, let me try. And then my stuff started going viral, and then we started making content together. And then that's when it really just like took off.
Were you doing something before social media? Like, did you have like a day job or were you going to school?
I used to work at a daycare.
Oh, how was that?
Yeah, I loved it. I love kids, but yeah, I liked it.
Was it hard though? Like, obviamente dealing with other people's kids. Like,
to be honest, there was a worker who was like such a bitch to all these kids, and it always made me feel so sad because I'm like, obviously these kids don't want to be here. I'm like when it comes to kids, oh my gosh, they're my soft spot. So I was always, all the kids loved me. I was always the nicest one, the one that everybody wanted to talk to. Like, I could see them be bad, and I'm like, I didn't see that.
Yeah, you're doing amazing, sweetie.
Yeah, literally, because I'm like, they already hear enough from this other one in their ear. So, but yeah, I loved it, and I was also going to school. I didn't really know what I wanted to do yet, but I was just going for like my general ed, and then I just stopped everything once like social media like really took off, and we started like getting paid enough.
Was that a hard decision to make? Obviously you had this stable job, social media not being super stable, but like obviously being able to create a living out of it. But at the time you probably didn't know what the future was going to hold for you. Was that like a crazy decision to make?
Yes, because at the time I was still living with my parents, not pregnant, and it was like hard for them to like accept. So I literally like had to show them like bank statements, like, I make more than I do at my job. Like, what's the point of me being at my job? And then also like school too. They were like, they just didn't get it. They're like, it's not like not stable. Like, yeah, you're making that money right now, but this is not going to be forever. So yeah, it was super hard for them. I was also scared too. Like, the day that I like gave in my notice, I was like, oh my gosh, like, am I making the right decision? But also COVID had literally just happened, so they closed down works, so there wasn't even any kids to take care of. So yeah, it like honestly worked out perfect timing because COVID is when we really started like taking off.
I feel like COVID really was like a time where creators really blew up. I remember the last time I interviewed you, we were like, what the hell? You barely started doing content. I think at the time, I did say it was 2023, but I do want to say it was 2022 because it's been like 2.5 years. It's been a while, you guys. And at the time, I had thought like you've been doing social media for a long time. And she was like, oh, I've been doing it for a year. And I'm like, girl, and you already have so many fucking followers. Was that like something crazy for you to grasp on? Like having so many people watch you all at once?
So crazy. Okay, for me, I like didn't grow. Like, I have a lot of followers for sure, but like my son's father was like literally gaining 1 million a month. So that was like crazy to me.
On TikTok.
Yeah. But yeah, it still shocks me to this day. I'm like, how am I still growing?
And you know what's the crazy part too? I feel like about social media, like sometimes we forget that those people that, like those numbers we see like as a following count are actual people. 100%. And if you really think about it, I always, whenever I go to like a concert or whenever I go somewhere, I'm like, oh shit, this has a capacity of only 40,000 people and it's a bunch of fucking people. And that's when it fucking hits like, bro, there's a lot of fucking people watching, a lot of people fucking watching every move. Does that sometimes like get in the way when you want to share stuff because you're like, you know what, there's way too many people watching where they can create their own opinion about whatever I'm wanting to do in my life?
Yeah, for sure. No, I feel like now I for sure do not share my son as much. Just because I feel like there's too many opinions. Like, you can never, ever do something right. There's always somebody who's gonna, like, just say something. And I just always stay quiet, but...
What was that moment or that video that you remember that like blew up where you really felt like you could make social media like your full-time job? What video or what moment, what paycheck inspired you to be like, you know what, fuck my job, I got this?
We were creating like a lot of like toxic couple skits. Everything we posted just like super, super viral on TikTok. And then like our YouTube videos would just start taking off too with the help of TikTok. Like we would be promoting them onto TikTok. So I feel like it wasn't like a specific like day or paycheck, but it was like when we started getting consistent like paychecks. Like my family doesn't understand. It's like a hard concept. I get it.
Even till this day?
Yes.
No way.
No, like my grandma will like see my videos and be like, like what the heck? Like she thinks it's like real, like pranks, all of that. Like she just thinks it's real, and she'll like call me, or like her family from Mexico will call her and be like, oh my god, what's happening?
¿Ya vieron lo que le pasó a Bella?
Yes, literally. Exactly. And she'll be like, oh my god, what is happening? So I had to block her.
Pobre abuelita, la bloquearon.
No,
how was it like when you got to
like,
explain to them that obviously you were doing a lot of skits, not all of them were real. Majority of them weren't, right?
Yeah.
So how was it like, you know, obviously you're putting this out there, your family and friends are seeing shit that's happening, especially when it comes to relationship stuff, you know, like they're obviously thinking it's real. Did that affect you in any way with like your relationship?
I would say, I feel like my family didn't like agree always with our content. Like they would be like, why the hell are you posting this? Like, you look like a psycho person. Because we would make a lot of like me being toxic like skits, which are obviously fake, but they just thought that like I was painting myself to be like such a bad person. They didn't get it. They wanted me to stop making videos like that, but it got me here.
Do they understand it now? At least are they like, okay, like we know she's being a loca online, but that's not really what she actually, how she is?
No.
You're like, no, they're still against it. You're like, they want me to fucking go back to the daycare.
No, yeah, literally now their problem is me like posting with other guys.
Why? Why is that a problem?
They feel like it makes me look like a bad person. I feel like it's just content.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously there's limits to everything, but to me, I feel like I don't post anything bad.
Like you're not doing any harm to anyone. Yeah. I feel like that's what it is too. I feel like family, especially when you start doing social media and you start getting out there, obviously, like a lot of the things we do and a lot of the things we say, we make it even more dramatic just for the content, you know? And sometimes it can make people be like, girl, what the fuck is going on with that person? But it does kind of almost limit you where you feel like, fuck, like, what are they going to think? Do you feel like that happens to you a lot?
100%. Like, I blocked my parents too recently, but like sometimes I'm like, damn, like I can't post this or like I can't do this trend because somebody's gonna say something. A cousin, a this or that is gonna tell my parents, or like, so I'm for sure limited. Like I don't always post like certain videos that I make with my friends, or like me going out. Like a lot of times, like I'll go ghost for like 3 days just because I'm like, I don't even want to hear anybody.
You're very open about your OnlyFans. Was that a hard decision to like take when it came down? Not knowing this now, was that like hard to be like, fuck, if they're already going crazy over like my toxic content, ¿qué van a pensar cuando sepan que abrí my OnlyFans? Was was that like a thing that happened to your head?
To be honest, I'm not even sure if they know about that because nobody said anything to me.
Do you think like maybe they're just like, oh, let's not even bring it up?
No, I feel like they probably don't know yet. But it's only a matter of time, I know for sure, because 100% they would have brought it up.
Like, not even your parents know.
Yeah.
You're like, no, and I'm scared for them to find out. Are you scared, though, for them to find out? Is that something that maybe worries you?
In this point in my life, I'm definitely doing my own thing and whatever I want to do. Like, I'm so tired of, like, pleasing other people. So, in this era of my life, I'm doing my own thing. So, I don't care. I'm an adult.
Exactly.
And I pay my own bills. I got my own car. Like, I don't need anybody for anything. Yeah. So I'm just doing my own thing.
And I feel like that should be a mindset that more people should have, because I feel like a lot of the time, you know, even if you're not a creator, I feel like a lot of the time we limit ourselves or like don't do something that we really want to do or something that like brings happiness to us because, you know, of other people talking shit or what the other people might say. But at the end of the day, you are living your life for the first time. You're going to do things that you want to do. Y si a la gente no le parece, pues ahí está la puerta, mijita. I'm like, se me van y la cierran on the way out.
Yeah.
Hablamos about your social media, how you started. Quiero hablar un poquito más about Bella being a mom. A los 21 años te embarazas, you know, you get pregnant. How was that? You know, ¿cómo te diste cuenta? What were your first symptoms? What made you be like, let me fucking go take a pregnancy test because I feel like I might be pregnant?
You know what's crazy? I literally had no symptoms, but I would have dreams that I was pregnant, and then I would wake up holding my stomach. And then one day I just told my son's father, I was like, I'm going to go take a pregnancy test. And he was like, you're not pregnant. And then I was like, okay, but I'm going to do it anyways. And so we went to Target. I took the pregnancy test and just like that.
What was your reaction? Were you scared?
Oh, I was so scared of my parents' reaction.
¿Cómo les dijiste? Them being so strict, obviously
I didn't tell them. He told them. He told them when I was like 3 months pregnant. We got into like a little like argument and he was like, I'm gonna go tell your parents that you're pregnant. And so I was like, you know what? Okay. I literally shut my phone off and I was like,
I don't want to hear it.
I don't want to hear it. So he went to their house. At the time he had an apartment. But I wasn't living with him, obviously. But he had gone to their house and told them, like, oh, Bella's pregnant. And they just literally said, okay, like, tell her to come home. Like, my dad said, tell her to come home. And my mom started crying. And then when I got home, they just hugged me, and my mom was crying. And they were just saying, it was shocking. They just said, like, oh, we're here for you, blah, blah, stuff like that. I literally was not expecting the reaction. They took the whole pregnancy and
very lightly.
They love my baby so much.
Obviously, you got pregnant at 21. You know, obviously, you're a whole ass adult. And I feel like they're like, well, ¿qué más vamos a hacer? Ya se embarazó.
Yeah.
Did you move out with your baby daddy at the time right away?
Yeah.
How was that?
Like 2
was
weeks
that
after,
sad, like, for you to leave home?
I was
How was
so
that?
sad. Like, as much as, like, I had my differences with them, I was so sad. I loved my little room, my little setup, and it was so hard to go from, like, being with my big family every day to, like, just living with a guy. It was so new to me. And then I'm pregnant. It was such a change, but I literally would wake up and go to my parents' house and, like, spend the day there and then come back home and go to sleep. We got a house 2 minutes from my parents' house.
How was it like being pregnant? What were your pregnancy cravings? Did you have any crazy pregnancy cravings?
Honestly, it was so nice. I feel like in the beginning, especially, I had such a nice pregnancy. I literally woke up, slept all day. Nobody bothered me. I would eat whatever I wanted. I gained so much weight. I would eat whatever I wanted. My craving was chili cheese fries from the Hat.
Is that the pastrami
If you never
place?
had it.
I've never had it. There's one
so
in Brea,
good.
right?
Yes.
I literally told my boyfriend maybe like 2 weeks ago because we went to Brea Mall.
Yeah.
And I was like, what the fuck is that Hat place? And then it's like pastrami. It says like pastrami.
So good.
Is it good?
That was my biggest
fries.
craving. Pastrami chili cheese fries with a cherry Coke. Like, I would literally cry for that every single day.
Did you have, like, weird cravings? Because I feel like it's a good craving. Like, there's people that mix like weird-ass fucking shit,
I never,
right?
ever had weird cravings.
Was it a smooth pregnancy, or did you have any, like, pregnancy scares, you know, throughout those 9 months?
In the beginning, it was super, super smooth. I got really nauseous in the beginning, but, like, expected. It wasn't until, like, 20 weeks when you do the anatomy scan of the baby. They do, like, a full scan, like, look at the baby's heart, like, count fingers, count toes. That's when they had found it's not going to make sense to a lot of people, but the narrowing of his aortic arch.
Yeah.
So in his heart, something just wasn't right. And they told us that there was, like, a good percentage that he was going to be born with heart failure. But they weren't going to know until he was actually born.
How was that for you, you know, at that moment when the doctor told you that? Did that put you, like, in a place?
It was so hard. Like, such a depression for me. And I also had like Valmentos cord insertion. So like in my placenta, like his umbilical cord is supposed to be like in the middle of it, but mine was like to the side. So that meant that like he wasn't gonna get enough like oxygen. And like nutrients from me.
Vitamins y todo eso.
Yeah, but thank God we didn't have any problems with that. It was just mainly the heart problems, and he has heart problems now to this day, but thankfully they're nothing like serious.
It's nothing serious.
Yes.
Obviamente te dan esta noticia, which is a news that obviously as someone that's pregnant you don't ever want to hear. Do you feel like after finding out about this possibility, was that something that almost not ruined your pregnancy, but almost made it even like not enjoyable because all you were thinking about was that?
I couldn't enjoy it. I was always overthinking. Like I would make an appointment to go check on the baby every week, like to go to an ultrasound, like private ultrasounds. I would do that every week. Like if I didn't feel him like kicking, I would start crying. Like, oh, it took such a toll on me, for sure.
Cuando ibas a los ultrasound, did they ever give you like any like good news, bad news?
No, because like the ultrasounds that I would go to are not like doctors. It's like just for funsies, like take cute pictures of the baby. So they wouldn't tell me anything like that.
Tú nomás ibas para ver que se estaba moviendo, that he was good.
Just to make sure he was moving and heart beating.
So you give birth, obviously. Nos cuentas que sí nació with a couple of difficulties. How was it like when you gave birth? Like, was that like the first thing you were thinking about, like throughout your whole labor?
To be honest, I wasn't thinking about it when I was giving birth. I had a very, very smooth birthing process. It was so easy. He literally came out in 2 minutes from me pushing.
Oh, shit. So how long were you in labor for?
I went in at 9 a.m. and then I had him the next morning at 4 a.m.
Okay, so you were in there for a couple hours, but when it came down to the pushing, it was like, boom.
Oh, yeah, he was out. Like, the nurse had came in to check me to see how far dilated I was, and she was like, oh, my God, his head is, like, literally sticking out. So, yeah, he came out super, super easy. But I wasn't thinking about any of that during the, like labor. I feel like I was so blessed. Like, I've heard so many horror stories. I had such an easy pregnancy and delivery. So easy. But, yeah.
Sabemos el efecto that pregnancy can have on, you know, the women body, you know, the change of hormones. Even just the recovery process is like not as smooth as a lot of people online make it seem. Because I feel like we see a lot online, you know, you see a lot of your favorite creators, you know, have a baby and then 2-3 months later bounce back and or even that same month and you see a lot of comments like, oh my God, girl, you bounced back hard.
Seriously.
How was your recovery? Do you feel like you had a quick, in what way?
Well, when I had my baby, he had to stay in the NICU for a week because his sugar was like extremely low. Like he would literally be like this, like shaking. So he had to stay there for a week, and that took such a toll on me because never did I expect that my baby was going to have to stay in the NICU. It never crossed my mind. Like, I literally thought I was going to give birth, and then he was going to come home with me. So that took a huge effect, like, to go home and, like, not be pregnant anymore, and then to see his bassinet, and he's not in it, and he's, like, at the hospital by himself. Oh, it took such a toll on me.
How long was he in the NICU?
Only a week.
But that's still a lot.
It could have been
bad. I feel like,
worse.
I mean, I'm sure as a new mom, like, you're like, girl, like, I want my baby with me. Even that week probably felt internal for you.
For sure, yeah. It could have been worse, and I'm thankful it wasn't, but it felt like an eternity.
How was recovering from pregnancy physically? Like, did you go through, like, a lot where you were like, you know what? Like, my body's changed. I don't feel as confident. How was that for you?
I feel like I was comparing myself to everybody online who had just given birth, like, right before me or after me. And I'm like, how come they look like that? I don't look like that. So, yeah, it took such a toll on me. I gained so much weight during my pregnancy. I don't remember how much, maybe like 40 pounds. So it took such a toll on me. Like, my body just looked completely different. And I thought that, like, I was going to give birth and my stomach was going to go flat because I'm like, there's no baby in there anymore. That did not happen.
You're like,
It was so hard. And also, I started getting postpartum hair loss. So I lost a lot of hair.
So if anything, at that time, tú no te sentías bien about yourself. I feel like that happens a lot. You know, you mentioned, obviously, that you were comparing a lot to, like, people you saw online. And I feel like that happens a lot, especially with, like, you know, social media. A lot of the time, you know. But you know what's crazy? There is some people that are so blessed that after giving birth, like,
snap. For sure.
But I feel like a lot of people that do snap back, I will say, is like people that have BBLs or
surgeries.
Like,
yes,
porque supuestamente
sure.
lo que yo he escuchado, amigas, como ya está moldeado tu cuerpo, like it almost is like muscle memory. You know, after you give birth, because you're sculpted to the fucking gods, like tu cuerpo como que rápidamente empieza otra vez. And obviously at the time that wasn't what was happening for you. Do you feel like it almost made you go into depression about how like you felt and how you looked?
Oh, for sure. Like I did not want to make content. I went like so ghost after I like gave birth to my baby. Like I regret it a lot now because I don't have like any cute pictures or any memories with him. Even when I was pregnant too, like I was like, dang, I'm so big. It took such an effect on me because I don't have like maternity pictures.
No way.
I don't. I don't have any like nice pictures of me with my baby at all.
So you feel like the physical change of getting pregnant really did affect you a lot. And I feel like it affects a lot of women. And I feel like, you know, I've talked to a lot of women who've had kids and who have been like pregnant and like they say that a lot of the time the physical change is what gets them. You know, you go from not having the responsibility of being a mom to now having the responsibility of, you know, taking care of a child. How was it like for you, that transition? ¿Cómo fue para ti como decir, sabes qué, mi vida cambió?
I would say life really changed like the first month. After the first month, like once he hit like a month, that's when life really changed. I was breastfeeding him, so it was like everything was like, my whole life was like on his time. And I also like didn't produce enough milk. So that took a toll on me because it's like he wanted more. And I'm like, where am I supposed to get it from?
I ain't got more. Yeah.
No, literally. And he was also super fussy. Like, if you ask like any of my family members, like all they remember is just him crying all the time.
All the time.
For the first year of his life, crying all day.
Oh,
super fussy, super colicky. He had colic. So, oh my gosh, it was long nights for sure. It was so hard the first year.
You know, I feel like a lot of the time women can blame themselves for things that they don't have control of. For example, like, you know, obviamente, tú mirabas que tu bebé quería más leche, quería más breast milk, but you obviously weren't producing. Did it ever get to the point where you started blaming yourself and your body?
Sure, no, 100%. And like I'm saying, like, it also goes back to like social media. Like I would see all the other mommies who just gave birth with their 10 ounces, and I'm like, I only have 1 ounce.
Like, or barely any,
Yeah.
Because
So
I do see that a lot. A lot of people even freeze the milk because they have way too
many, yeah. I feel like I started getting softer as he relied on it less. As he got older and was like actually eating food, I literally just stopped breastfeeding in December. He's going to be 3 in June.
I mean, that's a long time, though.
So long.
You were breastfeeding for a good time,
Yes, I wanted to quit so bad. But yeah, I made it that far. And I literally only stopped because I was going to get my boobs done. So I had to stop. And I got like a lift and an augmentation. So they're totally different. But I needed it so bad after that long of breastfeeding. Oh, they were so saggy.
Do you feel like that made you feel more confident,
For
you know,
sure.
especially after going through everything you went through while being pregnant?
For sure.
If you guys have watched the first episode, I do remember you getting a lot of shit at the time because, you know, nos estabas platicando that at the time you were no longer with your baby daddy, but you guys were living under the same roof. Y recently, you know, you took the decision to move out. Primero, antes de que empezamos a hablar un poquito de eso, yo quiero saber what made you finally take that decision. What was like your thought process, or what was like going on that you're like, you know what, I think it's time for like me to live alone, ya no estamos juntos. ¿Cómo fue todo eso para ti?
Okay, so I lived with him for a year when we were broken up, and then we got back together for a year, and then we broke up again. And honestly, I feel like at this point I was just like, okay, too much back and forth. And it's like obvious that like it's not gonna be like a forever thing. So like, what am I doing here? And I did originally plan to stay there for my son, and we were gonna still live under the same roof. But then we just started like arguing too much. And then I was just like, if this is not forever, why am I living here? Like, as much as I would love for my son to see both of his parents together and to see him every single day, it's just not reality. Like, for me, like, eventually I'm going to date somebody else, get, like, married, or I want to. So I'm like, that's just not, like, ideal for me to still live with this guy.
Was it a hard decision to take? Because obviously, nos estabas contando que you stayed there for a long time, going back and forth. And when you finally made that decision, was it hard?
No, to be honest, I was like so happy. Like I was so happy. I was so excited to like move out and like start like my new chapter. But like when I actually moved out, like those first nights without my son, oh, they were so hard. I was like, am I making the right decision?
You're like, should I go back?
Literally, like literally. Yeah, I cried every single night for like the first 2 weeks. It was so hard. And even when my son like would stay with me, he was just like so confused. He's like, I want to go back like to his house. Yeah. So that didn't make the process any easier.
Was that very heartbreaking to hear? Because
so
obviamente él no entendía that you were doing the best.
Yeah, it was so heartbreaking. Like that would just make me cry so much. Like he would be like, I want to go back home, Mom. I want to go back home. Because he's so smart.
Does he start asking little stuff?
Yeah, for sure. He would ask me like, Mom, like come into Dad's. Mom, how come you're not at Dad's house? Like he would ask me stuff like that. Break my heart. Yeah. But now he's definitely a lot more used to the whole situation, so we definitely just had to get over that little bump. Yeah. But it was so hard in the beginning.
How was it like when, obviously you made this decision and then you had to tell your baby daddy like, hey, you know what? I'm going to move out. Was that hard to like talk to him about?
No, because he like we kind of like made the decision like together. We were like having like a disagreement, and then he said something about like do you want to move out, or like maybe you should move out? And then I was just like, yeah, I feel like I should. So we kind of like came to like
a mutual agreement
about the whole situation. So it was, thankfully I didn't have to like address the situation on my own. It was definitely mutual.
I remember the last time, when we had you on the podcast, you told me que mucha de tu familia didn't agree with, like you still living under the same roof. How was it like when you finally told them the news, like, hey, I'm actually moving out? ¿Cómo tomaron ellos todo eso?
Now they're upset that I don't live there. Yeah, the
You're
roles
like, no que querían que me saliera?
No, literally.
How did you tell your parents, first of all?
To be honest, I don't remember. What I remember was I had already got a U-Haul and started like packing up my stuff. I had gone to lunch with my sister, and I got back home to like mine and Anthony's house at the time, and my dad was literally sitting in my living room like, what are you doing? Whose U-Haul is that outside?
Like who's moving? Yeah.
Oh, literally, like just going like psycho. Like, why are you doing this? Like, you need to go to therapy. Like, this is not what's right. I'm like, dude, I just broke up with him, lived with him or he just broke up with me. We lived together for a year, and you guys were crying that I needed to get out. And now I get out, and you're not happy. So that's what I'm saying. Like, I can never make anybody happy, and I'm just doing my own thing.
Did you ever feel guilty taking that decision because of your child?
Oh, for sure. There was times where I thought about moving back. Yeah. Like, I was going to break my lease. We even had, like, discussions about, like, we were going to rent, like, a really big house together and split it and then, like, live, obviously, in our own separate rooms. So we've had multiple discussions about, like, me moving back together with him.
What made you, like, in your heart be like, you know what, maybe that isn't the right choice that I want to do?
Yeah, because I just feel like it's, like, backtracking. And then, like, I know, once again, like, it's never going to be, like, me and him. And my son's already gone through so much, like, progress with the whole situation. There's just no reason to, like, backtrack or confuse him, and, like, all of a sudden I'm living with Dad again.
Like, or he might think you guys are back together.
Yeah, and then I'm like, there's a reason we broke up. Yeah. There's no reason I should be, like, living with you, arguing. Not saying that, like, we would, but, like, there's a reason we're not
Yeah. What do you feel like has been the hardest part, of you now living alone?
Oh, my gosh, I'm so lonely. Like, I'll be there just, like, laying in my bed, and I get guilty. Like, I feel like I should be with my son. Yeah. Like, I'm literally not doing anything right now. I should be taking care of my son.
Has it been hard? Obviously, women get a lot of, hate, especially online. You know what I mean? Like, I mentioned it earlier about how, like, you were saying that, like, now that you're out and about, you get hate of people like, Bella, go back home, like, take care of your child. And I feel like people sometimes forget that, like, you're no longer together, that your child has a dad as well. And, like, when he's not with you, obviously, he's somewhere safe and with someone that loves him.
Sometimes, like, when I see the comments, it makes me feel some type of way, but I feel like it's because I only post when I'm by myself and going out. I don't post my son. as often. I feel like people only see the side of me like going out, and so they're like, oh, she's never with her kid, but they don't see when I'm with him and all the things that I'm doing with him. So yeah, I definitely started posting him a lot more recently. But in the beginning, when we had first like broke up and I moved out, I wasn't posting him at all. Like literally like covering his face, like everything, like not posting him at all.
So then people thought you were just going
not taking care of my kid.
How's your guys' schedule? Like, you know, obviously now that you guys are no longer together, how's co-parenting? Like, do you feel like now that you guys don't live in the same place, do you feel like it's gotten better?
It's chill. Like, he has his days with him, I have my days with him. Right now we just do every 3 days. We were doing 2 days, but then we just felt like the time was just going too fast. Like, I just had him and now I'm giving him back. So now we're doing 3 days, and I'm not sure if we would ever do like weeks, just because it's too many days without him. So yeah, it's just like chill. Like, it is what it is. Like, he does his thing, I do my thing, and that's it.
And I feel like you guys are still, you know, how long ago did you move out?
Maybe like
recent, right? Like maybe
5 months?
Like, it hasn't been a year, for sure.
No, not a year.
So I feel like you're still in that early stage of, like, you know, we're trying to be on the same page, trying to put our problems to the side. You know, we're here for Noah. Y eso es todo. And I feel like, you know, van a llegar un momento donde obviamente, like, you guys are both going to be, like, on the same page, and, like, your schedules are going to be so good where it's like, ya lo que ustedes piensan que le puede afectar al niño ya no le va a afectar, because it's like, no, he has a schedule, he's already used to the routine, and he has love on both sides. Y eso lo que yo pienso, that's the end goal at the end of the day, especially after, you know, separating, because I feel like when parents separate, it's a little hard, because a veces uno como papá quiere make things work out for your baby, but sometimes no se puede. You know, también nos comentas de que, you know, you want children in the future, you also want to get married. You know, do you want to give a second attempt at creating a family with someone new?
Yeah, for sure, but I want like 3 kids. Like, I've always wanted a big family. 3 kids is not a big family, but now that I have one, I'm like,
it is big.
Yes, for sure. But I definitely want more kids, whether if it's with somebody else or like I'm adopting, I'm gonna have more kids.
Oh, that's
so
cute.
I'm for sure open to adopting if I'm never like in another serious relationship.
Yeah.
Because I want like all my kids by 30.
So you want Noah to grow up with like a sibling. Yeah, like, kind of like
sure.
you. Do you ever look at him and you're like, oh, pobrecito, he's so lonely sometimes?
Sure. Especially when he's with me, it's just me.
Yeah.
So I feel like he gets so lonely. Like, literally, we'll be at Disneyland, and if like a little kid like talks to him, he gets so excited. It makes me so sad. Yeah, like he's literally the sweetest. But yeah, it makes me so sad for him. Like, I feel like he's just so lonely all the time. Yeah. Like, obviously, he has me when he's with me, but it's not the same
it's not the same as having a child around him.
For sure. So, yeah, I definitely want more kids in the future.
Y ahora sí, yo quiero hablar de chisme, ¿verdad? Hace unos meses te miramos out and about con Fabio. Antes de que empecemos con todo el chisme, yo quiero saber cómo se conocieron. How did that whole ship start? Who made the first move? Like, ¿cómo pasó todo eso? Cuéntanos un poquito de eso.
I made the first move. I saw him I saw him live on TikTok.
Okay.
On my For You page. We didn't follow each other, but I obviously knew of him.
Yeah.
If I want to backtrack all the way, I'm going to backtrack all the way. We had beef.
No way.
Yeah.
You and him?
No, like as couples, when we were couples.
Like when he was dating Pau? Wait, cuéntanos eso, because I didn't know about that.
It wasn't
Was it like online beef, or was it
No. Like personal. It wasn't like anything serious. And to be honest, I feel like it was dumb. He feels like it's dumb.
Yeah.
I don't know anybody else's opinion. But what it was that he had like messaged us saying that like he felt like we were stealing his video ideas, blah 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 blah, and like to start giving him credit, like something like that.
Yeah.
And then like ever since then we just like didn't like mess with each other. And so obviously he never followed me,
and you obviously didn't either.
Yes. And then I saw him live. Never ever have I seen him on my For You page, but I saw him live on TikTok on my For You page. And so I started sending him gifts. I'm like, let me just...
You're like, let me send some gifts here and there. Yeah.
So I started sending him gifts, and then he was just like, oh, like, thank you so much. Like, I feel like he was, like, kind of caught off guard. He's like, what the hell?
Like, I thought we had a beef. Yeah.
And then afterwards, he DM'd me, and he was like, thank you so much for the gifts. And then I was like, oh, of course, like, you're welcome. And then he started following me, and then I was like, are you down to collab? Literally, next day, I was at his house.
So at the beginning, it started off as a collab.
Yeah.
So then you guys started collabing. Obviamente, suben el primer video. You know, you guys post that first video that went everywhere. Because everyone, I feel like everyone was like, what the hell? These are like two different worlds.
Unexpected.
What the hell is Bella doing with Fabio? What was your guys' like reaction?
To be honest, I knew that it was going to do good, but I didn't know how good it was going to do. It went like insane. So, yeah, it was caught me by surprise. But then shortly after, like, we posted our first video, he had gone to visit his family for Christmas.
Okay.
So he was gone for like a month. So then we like went ghost on that whole situation.
So like a lot of people, you know, I saw a lot of comments. A lot of people were saying, oh, you know, especially because they know that a lot of the content you do is just for content. So I feel like there was like a lot of people that were like, oh my God, I love them together. Yes, date. But there was also a good amount of people that were like, no. Esto no es en verdad. This is just content.
Yeah.
What was really going on? Was it like, were you guys feeling each other? Was there chemistry? Or was it really just for content that whole time?
At first, it definitely... I wouldn't say that it was ever, like, just for content. We definitely got super close. Like, he was super sweet to me. Super, super nice. Like, we always got along really, really well. We became, like, really good friends.
Yeah.
But it definitely started escalating from there, for sure. Yeah, I would say he started catching feelings, and I did too. But then, like, it never went anywhere.
Was that scary, like, for you to, like, start catching feelings because you're like, fuck, I just got out of a relationship, like, or was that, like, you didn't care about that?
No, to be honest, I didn't care.
You're like, I'm not being 100%, I didn't give a fuck.
No,
How was it like? 'Cause did you get a lot of hate at the time? You know, obviously a lot of people saw you being, I would see a lot of comments like, you know, the teams or just people saying, oh, she moved on too fast. What was your reaction, obviously, when you were seeing all those comments aside from like the good positive comments?
No, I feel like I understand like people saying that like I moved too fast, but like in my head, like my last relationship with my ex was like done a long time ago. I'm like, it was
you
nothing.
You were clocked out for a long time. Yeah.
So like leaving, it was just like another day. You get me? Like it wasn't anything like, oh my gosh, like I just lost like the love of my life. It was just like, okay, like bye.
Like we got to move on.
Seriously.
Like even though you weren't with him, like in the same house for like 5 months at the time, but you're like, I was checked out like a year and a half ago, you know? Because nos mencionaste that during that time, before you moved out, you guys had already been broken up for another year.
A year. And then we got back together. And then we got back together and it was like...
It wasn't working out.
It just wasn't like the same.
Obviamente nos cuentas, it started out as content. You guys started both gaining feelings for each other. Hubo un momento donde you guys kind of, you know, stopped completely. Was that because he went with his family or did you guys like have a fallout? ¿Qué pasó ahí? Cuéntanos de eso.
Well, I feel like we would just have like conversations of us like liking each other, obviously like where both of our minds are at. And then like when I wasn't with him, he would just like not speak to me. I'm sorry, I'm calling you out. But he would like not speak to me.
Like at all.
Like
so you guys
like,
kind of just had like an in-person friendship relationship, but like when you guys weren't together, like tienes vela.
And then like he would message me like, oh, to like hang out or whatever, and then we would hang out. But like what made me like completely just drop the whole situation was we were supposed to hang out before he went on a trip. He was gonna go on a trip to like Miami for a week, and then he was gonna, I forgot where else he was going, but he was gonna go somewhere else for a month. So he was like, let's hang out before I go. It was like 4 days till he was leaving. Never messaged me, just took off on the flight.
Te dejó plantada. Like he literally built on it. And
you're
like, oh hell no,
And so I was like,
did you tell him shit?
I don't remember if I ever told him something right away. I don't think I did until like later on he messaged me about like dropping his song for me, and then I think he just got the hint that like I was like not interested anymore. But what ended up happening was he just left for a week and then came back. But in my head, I'm thinking, oh, he's gone for a month. So, but still, I'm like, how come you didn't message me?
Yeah, like, or if something came up, porque no me dijiste, like, hey, I can't hang out. I gotta deal with some shit. Like, maybe when I come back, we can hang out.
Yes,
Te dejó plantada,
for sure. Yeah, so he just left, didn't say nothing, came back, and then I think he just got the vibes. I don't remember if I like posted with somebody else or what had happened, But yeah, so after that we literally just stopped talking.
Did you ever confront him about it at all?
Yeah, he like messaged me asking like if it was still okay that like he dropped the song, and kind of like just asked me like where my head was at. And then I told him like, bruh, you literally just ghosted me and left. And he was saying like, oh, it's because I was busy, blah blah blah. You know,
and you're like, bullshit. Yeah. Like conmigo no me va a decir pendejadas.
The whole story. And so, yeah, that was it. And then after that conversation, like when he asked me like if it was still okay if he dropped his song about me, we just stopped talking for like months.
Did he end up dropping it? Yeah, okay, so you still gave permission. You're like, fuck it, ya que sea, lo que sea. That's good. Yeah. I feel like that's a good thing. You know, obviously you were butthurt at the time because you're like, ¿cómo me vas a dejar plantada? But like the still good person in you were like, baja, sube la canción, chingue su madre. Hablamos un poquito about this situation, right? Yo quiero saber, now that we're talking about dating, what is like now after everything you've gone through, you know, with your ex or with your, you know, your casi algos, what is like the ideal man that Bella looks for? What are the things that you really do look for now in a guy?
I for sure need somebody like romantic. I'm such a lover girl. Like I need those flowers. I need those dates. I need like reassurance. Like I cannot be with somebody who's like boring
or that leaves you unread and goes on a
flight.
Right? I'm like, Fabio, we're all calling Fabio out right now. I'm like, definitely not a Fabio in your life. That's crazy. So so you want more like affection. Right? Yes. Like you, and I feel like that's something that a lot of women want because, you know, I mean, and I feel like you're not asking for much. It's like literally show me that you love me and you fuck with me because yo siento como a veces, especially with social media now, I feel like a lot of people tend to like, are you very big on like, oh, don't just do it for like the media? Like, I want to make sure I feel like that love in person, too.
I'm tired of the flowers just for the camera.
You're like, bitch, I don't want to post it. Like, just give them to me on the regular basis.
Yeah, absolutely.
What are, like, the red flags that now, after everything you've gone through, what are red flags that you see right away and you're like, bitch, I'm not going to ignore that red flag?
What's a good one? What do you think?
Any red flags, like, you know, communication?
I don't know. To be honest, I feel like you got, like, a week to impress me, and that's how I know, like, if I'm going to still talk to you or not. Like, I'm so big on vibes. Like, if I get a vibe right away, I'm going to continue. But, like, I know right away. Yeah. I'm so big on, like, the vibes.
And I feel like a week is, like, a good amount of time.
Sure,
like, either you show me you really fuck with me or 100%, no. Porque no tengo todo el pinche día, no tengo todo el pinche mes. Literally. Una pinche semana y ya. I'm like, so if any of you guys, pretendientes or no. Wait, I want to actually ask, because I saw yesterday.
No.
You're like, no, thank you. Wait, so are you currently dating or what? Porque ayer miré algo de que un TikTok casi con un beso con alguien. Are you currently dating? What's that all about?
I'm not currently dating anybody, but I'm definitely not opposed to it. We're just seeing where things go.
Do you feel like because you have such a big following, do you feel like you ever get pressure from your followers, especially when they're commenting stuff?
No, I don't care what anybody like has to say when it comes to like my dating life, because I'm gonna do like what makes me happy. But I know that there's obviously like certain like teams or like guys that people want me with, and I'm just like, never gonna happen.
You're like, bitch, I'm gonna do what I want to do. And I feel like that's something, you know, that you've been recargando a lot throughout the whole interview, and it's something that is good because it's like, I feel like for a long time maybe you were doing what everyone else wanted you to do, and you were living your life. You weren't, you know, viviendo your life to the fullest. And it's like, you know what, I'm gonna do what Bella wants to do. I'm gonna date whoever Bella wants to date. Si les gusta bien, si no, chinga su madre. Literal. You know, hablando de social media, we know that social media, you know, of course has a lot of benefits, a lot of great things, but it also has a lot of downsides, you know. And I feel like you're no stranger to hate. How do you deal with that? You know, obviamente miramos un video, whatever it is, and even though there can be so much love, nunca falta the hate. How do you deal with the hate comments?
Well, I block out a lot of like keywords on my comments, so like people can't comment stuff. I block out stuff like stuff about my son. So like, you know, like if they comment that, you have to go and approve those comments. So they can't just say whatever they want. So stuff that like bothers me like that, when it comes to my baby, I'll put those keywords so people can't comment that. But to be honest, I don't even look at my comments. Like hardly ever do I ever look at my comments. So I'm like, just let people say whatever they want.
You know what it is? I have that rule too, especially on TikTok, because I feel like on TikTok it's such a toxic app. Like whenever I see a video blowing up, like I'm really good with looking at my comments at the beginning. Once I see that video blowing up, like doing numbers, I'm like, bitch, I'm not even gonna look at the fucking comment section because sé que me andan tragando los pinches comentarios and I ain't want to see it because I feel like at the end of the day, you know, when you get consumed by the hate, like I feel like it does affect you. You know what I mean? Like we're at the end of the day, we're human, and I've sat down in front of cameras and be like, I don't give a fuck, like fuck everyone, but like bitch, in the fucking at home I'm all crying, like oh my god, they really think this of me, and I feel like it is very, you know, healthy to kind of not all the time read the fucking comments, especially if you're already feeling a certain way about yourself or what you're doing. You're like, bitch, I don't want people commenting on something that even me, I'm not 100% sure about, or you're still trying to figure out about your life. You know, hablando de hate comments, what's a misconception or what's a rumor or what's something that you've heard about yourself online when you fucking see it, you're like, bitch, what the fuck? Like, that is fucking fake.
I don't know if I'm allowed to talk about this here, but I get a lot of like comments that I do cocaine.
No way.
I swear. And you know what
How did that start? Yeah.
I think it's because like I used to have like a runny nose a lot, so I'd always go like, especially on my lives. And oh my gosh, that's like the biggest thing is that like they will always be like, oh, it's snowing in here. Like, oh, she's on
something. Yeah. You know what's funny? A huevo la gente quiere hacer eso, right? Because even for me, a mí me lo dicen mucho because of my weight loss, right? Like, it's either like, oh, he did cocaine to lose weight or he did Ozempic. And I'm like, bitch, I have a fucking whole video saying I fucking got weight loss surgery.
Like, look it up.
A huevo quieren decir algo que no es. Does that ever affect you? Especially with like big accusations like that. You're like, bitch, like what the fuck? Especially because I feel like with TikTok and social media, like even if it's not true, I feel like if you see a video online, people will just grasp onto that video and swear it's true. Do those fake accusations ever get to you?
No, but like in the back of my head, I'm just thinking like, what is going on in your head? Like what makes you even like come up with this stuff?
Have you ever addressed it?
No.
You're like,
never.
No, just now.
I don't address anything, to be honest. Like when there's something going on about me, I just let it go.
Do you feel like it's almost more for like your mental peace or por qué?
Yeah, I feel like it's more peaceful, and also I feel like it drags more like attention to the scenario, which I obviously don't want.
And I feel like that is true. You know what's funny? When I first started doing YouTube, any fucking hate comment or any little rumor, I would fucking address all the motherfucking time. And it got to a point where I'm like, okay, I can address things over and over and people are still gonna fucking believe and think whatever the fuck they want. Yeah. So mejor me quedo calladito porque me miro más bonito así and let people think whatever the fuck they want. You know, quiero hablar también de un tema. We talk a lot about misconceptions and one of those comments or one of those rumors that we see a lot is BBL rumors. You know, mucha gente siempre están diciendo, no, la vela se hizo el cuerpo. Do you have a BBL?
Well, I just obviously said that I've gotten my boobs done before. And most recently, I just got my third BBL.
Your third?
My third. This is my first time ever speaking about this.
Like about any of the BBLs or just the third one?
Any of my, this is my first time ever talking about this.
Aquí en exclusiva, amigas, en Noche de Pendejas. Oh my God, tell us about that. Like, first of all, you know, you had one. When was that?
Maybe like 6 months after I had my baby.
Okay.
Yeah. And then I had another one like 6 months after that. And then recently, I'm literally just healed from my third one.
Why'd you get the second one so close up? Was there something you didn't like or por qué? ¿Qué pasó ahí?
My butt wasn't big enough. My stomach wasn't small enough.
You're like, bitch, get me back in that fucking room. What the hell? How was the healing process? Because I know the BBL is like one of those like surgeries that are intense as fuck.
Oh, yes. I've heard like terrible stories. Even my friend, she got hers done.
Yeah.
She's had one and she was like, never again. Like, it's terrible. I've never had like... I don't know if I have a high pain tolerance or maybe just good doctors, but I've never had a bad experience. Like, I literally don't even take the pain medication. Yeah.
Obviously, I mean, you've had 3 already back to back. I feel like a lot of people get scared after the second one. Was there a reason why you were so private about that, or was there a reason why you were never open about it?
Yeah, because I feel like once you speak about it, like, that's all you are is a BBL. Like, botched, this, that, like, oh, it just opens a whole new can of worms.
Did people ever, like, accuse you of having it? Like,
oh, for sure. Especially more recently. Okay. That's all the comments. Like, did she get her body done? She has a BBL. Or, like, botched. Like, you should have left yourself natural. Like...
Now that you're comfortable about talking about surgeries, is there any other surgeries that you want to get done?
No, this is my last one, unfortunately. If I'm being honest, I would do another one.
Another BBL?
Yes.
She's like crazy. On her fourth round. Oh my God.
No, but my last one, I had a really bad experience.
Why? ¿Qué pasó? Cuéntanos.
I lost a lot of blood during my surgery, and it has nothing to do with my surgeon. He was an amazing, amazing, amazing surgeon. And I wish I would have gone to him like the first two times because there wouldn't have been around 3. But I lost a lot of blood during my surgery, and he says that he thinks it's because I had a lot of like scar tissue in there
from like the previous surgeries. Yeah.
So I lost a lot of blood. My blood pressure dropped. It was literally at like 40.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
like
they rushed me to the emergency room. Thank God he was able to finish the surgery because I'm like, imagine after all
they
that.
dragged you halfway? Oh my God, that's scary.
Yeah, I was so out of it like the first 4 days in the hospital. Like I was like, obviously I knew I was alive and I wasn't like in a coma or anything, but like I was literally just there like asleep the whole day. Like I couldn't get up. Like I had no blood.
Yeah. Tú ni en cuenta de lo que estaba pasando.
I had to get blood transfusions. I knew I was in the hospital. None of my family knows about this. Like I was completely by myself. I went to go get the surgery by myself. Nobody knew.
Where'd you get it? In
Beverly
the States?
Hills, yeah.
Oh, Beverly Hills. Okay.
Nobody knew that I went to get the surgery. Nobody knew that I was in the hospital. So this is the first time everybody's hearing about this.
So tú te hubieras podido morir y nadie se hubiera dado cuenta.
Yeah, literally. Like even my doctor came and visited me in the hospital and he's like, you have to tell somebody. You have to tell your family. And I was like, it's okay. I'm going to be okay. But like, yeah, I was freaking out in the hospital. Like, when I would like gain consciousness because like I could hear them obviously like in the emergency room like just going crazy. Like they were literally like ripping my clothes off of me, cutting my clothes off of me, like sticking stuff off of me. And then they were there, I would hear them say like, oh, like I had to get a CAT scan of my body because they thought that I was like internally bleeding. Yeah, because like I just kept losing blood.
That's
and
fucking
my
traumatic.
My blood pressure wasn't going up.
You said you were there for 4 days?
No, a week.
A week? Yeah. Oh my God. And during that whole week, no one knew.
Nobody
like no one
knew.
even was like texting you. ¿Cómo no se dieron cuenta?
My sister-in-law found out because she had my location. So she called me and was like, why the hell are you in the hospital?
For a week? Yeah.
And so I told her like, oh, I had surgery, like blah, blah, blah. Like it went bad. And she was like, like so shocked, like you were so stupid, why did you do that? Like
that's scary, you know. Obviamente now, you know, now that you're healed and now that you're doing so much better, obviamente nos cuentas that you kind of would be scared to get any other surgeries because because of that?
Yeah,
you wouldn't?
No, my doctor said he's like, that's it. He did
You're
my
done.
boobs too.
Okay.
He said that's it. Like your body does not want anything else done to it. Like you're done.
Going through that experience, did it also put it in your head like, you know what, like especially because you're a mom now, you know, it's scary.
Yeah, like I'm risking my life for that.
You know what I mean? And I feel like it does come down to like it is scary, especially, you know, now that you're a mom, because it's like, before, si te mueres, pues te muriste, you know, but now it's like, I mean, not like that. Like, obviously, it's a big deal, but like, I feel like now it's like, si te mueres, no nomás eres tú. You know, like, ¿qué va a pasar con tu bebé? That is crazy. You have balls, bitch. Those are some balls because I would never go into surgery that many times, first of all, for the same surgery, because that's scary. Because you know, there was a time where I wanted to get a BBL, and one of my best friends got it, and this was like during the time, like 2016, 2017, when it was like becoming a thing, right? And I remember I saw her go through it, like, but I think it like depends on a person too, because she went through hell and back with her surgery, but then there was people that I would see like 2 weeks out of surgery and then in chinga.
Oh yeah.
How long?
I was outside, literally after my first week of surgery, the first 2 times, outside. I think 3 weeks after my surgery, I was at the club. Yeah.
Girl, how was that? Were you able to like actually like, you know, obviously you're still recovering, your body's in pain. Like, were you able to be out in the club good, or were you like...
No, I was fine. My body was super sore. This time I got a lot more done. Like I got fat removed from my arms, my inner thighs, and then my stomach and back. The first 2 times I only did my stomach and back.
Oh, okay. So
like,
it
was more
like,
intense.
Yeah.
He had to like get it from other places because I didn't have enough fat.
Yeah.
So it was definitely a lot more intense. So I was really sore at the club, but
Pero ahí andabas,
fine,
shaking
like,
some
yeah.
ass with your new ass. That's fucking crazy. You went through 3 surgeries. And I feel like surgery is like one of those things that a lot of people like. I mean, a lot of people don't like to like talk about just because, you know, you can get a lot of different opinions from people. Opinions that don't matter at the end of the fucking day because it's like, girl, you got it y ya que. ¿Qué va a hacer la gente? But what's a piece of advice you can give to someone going into like a crazy surgery like a BBL?
I feel like what made me really, really want to talk about this was like the mommies in my comments. Like, how do you look like that after having a baby? Like, I look nothing like you. And I remember what it was like when I first like had my baby, like looking at everybody like, so that's for sure like what made me want to like
Open
discuss
up about
this.
it, yeah.
But yeah, you for sure have to do your research. Find a good doctor, like take your time, don't rush into it. And then obviously like there's always going to be that what if.
Yeah.
Like it's super risky. Any surgery is risky, but yeah, you have to just know if this is what you really, really want. And then you're going to have to take time off work.
Yeah. Was the time you took off, was it a lot? Like, how long were you off social media for?
It was so hard for me because now we do 50-50 with my baby.
Yeah.
So his dad had him for a whole week. And then when I got home, I think I was home for like 2 days. And then he brought him to my house.
And he didn't know at this time.
No, the baby daddy knew. He was the only one who knew because he dropped me off.
Okay. So at least you knew, at least someone knew.
Yeah. The only reason I told him was because he had to watch my son for the week, obviously. So, yeah, I had to tell him. He was the only one who knew.
Did he ever tell you, like, how he felt when, like, he found out you were rushed to the hospital? You're like, nah, he didn't care.
He never discussed that. He never told me anything about that.
That's scary.
Yeah.
That is really scary, though. Like, you know, I've had 2 surgeries. I got, but they weren't even like crazy. Well, I mean, I feel like my second surgery was a little like crazier, intense. But the first surgery, like when they ever put me under, I got chin lipo. Back in like maybe
I did that too.
How was that? Did you like it?
I got my boobs done and I got chin lipo.
Did you like it though?
Well, I feel like when I look back at my videos, I'm like, okay, it made a difference. But sometimes I'm like,
the thing about chin lipo, I got it when I was big, right? So, like, at the time, obviously, because I was, like, fucking big and, like, it didn't make a difference. But now, looking back, it looked fucking weird because I'm, like, tenía la cara bien filadita y el pinche cuerpazo de luchadora, amiga. Like, literally, like, it does make a difference, but I feel like a lot of people always tell me because I feel like now I have, like, a very strong jawline, but I've always had a strong jawline, you know? Like, when I was thinner before I gained, like, over 100 pounds, like, in high school, I've always had a very defined jawline. And a lot of people now are like, oh my God, you only look like that because of the chin lipo. I was like, if anything, like the chin lipo really didn't do much for me because a bitch was big. I'm like, it really didn't transform much. Ahora sí se me mira bien, but it's also because like just my jawline in general. It's like that. And I feel like chin lipo, did you do it awake?
No, I was asleep because I got my boobs done at the same time.
Oh, okay. So they did 2 for 1. They offered to do it awake. I was like, oh, hell no. I would never. I got my... I got LASIK too, and they did that awake. And even though LASIK, it sounds scarier, and it is kind of scary, but it is a very fast surgery. I think it's like 10 minutes. Being awake for a surgery is fucking scary. I just remember like being like laying down, amigas. Me acuerdo que me acostaron, and I was seeing the doctor literally open my eye. Imagine how scary that is, and like you can't move, you can't blink. They do put like some gotas in your eyes to like make them not move at all, but it was scary. And then obviously my weight loss surgery, that one was a little scary. But like for any of those surgeries to get put down, even to get put down, that's the scary part because hay gente que no se levanta y ahí quedan. You know, lo bueno que no quedas ahí, amiga, y todavía te tenemos aquí.
Yeah, that's why I wanted to, for my boobs, I wanted to do it awake because I'm like, I want to make sure that I'm alive and I'm like good. But
I feel like that's traumatizing though, doing surgery awake. Like, imagine seeing the fucking doctor panic if something's going on. I remember when I got my, what was it? Oh, my chin lipo actually. It was like a collab with like one of like the place I got it at. And I told them to record like BTS during surgery. Bitch, tell me why. No, watching back, I was like, oh, good thing I was fucking knocked out because the whole time they were doing my surgery, they were talking about going to Vegas and like getting drunk. And I'm like, bitch, worry about me. I'm like, I'm over here like en sus manos. Like, imagine if I would have been awake and hearing them talk about Vegas. I'm like, can y'all shut the fuck up and do my fucking surgery? It is scary. Now, obviously, you know, when I see back that footage, cómo te hacen y cómo te agarran. I'm like, it's crazy
intense.
the trauma that your body has to go through, and that's why, you know, sometimes el cuerpo no puede. Ya para terminar la entrevista de hoy, amigas, yo te quiero preguntar la última pregunta. ¿En dónde te miras tú en los próximos 5 años?
Hopefully with a house. That's my goal right now, is I really, really, really want to buy a house. Yeah, hopefully still doing social media. Maybe with another baby.
In 5 years, that's good though, because you want your kids to kind of grow together, right? Like, I feel like if you, I mean, there's never a wrong or right time to have a baby, but I've always said, like, if you're gonna have multiple kids, make sure they're not that spaced out,
for sure.
you know?
Yeah.
En unos 5 años, amigas, la vamos a ver con otro chamaquillo. But with that being said, amigas, muchas gracias por estar aquí con nosotros el día de hoy. Thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us, share your story, and just kind of share a lot of secrets que nunca has compartido. Yo sé que allá en casita también disfrutaron muchísimo de esta entrevista, amigas. Si quieren ir a seguir a Bella, aquí les voy a dejar all her social medias down below as well as on the screen. Y también no se les olvide to follow me on all my social medias. That way you guys won't miss any future episodes. And with that being said, thank you once again.
Of course, thank you for having me. I'm so honored to be the first one.
Yes, and thank you guys so much for watching y las miramos en la próxima. Bye, guys.
Bye.